The world's longest undersea rail tunnel linking the Arctic region with the heart of Europe could cost up to €20 billion and be opened by 2040.
The Helsinki-Tallinn Tunnel is a proposed undersea rail tunnel connecting Finnish and Estonian capitals. Once this tunnel is completed, it will be the longest undersea tunnel in the world.
A lot of it depends on the authorities, both Finland and Estonia, and their collaboration. So we actually have a constant dialogue with everybody, and I think that let's say within the next 2 years we'll be able to start.
Which is why it is a mega project attracting the world's attention. This tunnel will pass through the Gulf of Finland under the Baltic Sea and connect 2 large cities in the region. This connection will make accessibility to the cities easier and reduce transportation time. When this is done, it will strengthen trade and interaction between the 2 cities, making them a formidable force in trade and innovation. Plus, this will boost the economic standing of the cities, and the EU is thrilled to champion this project. However, while this project brings smiles and optimism to Europe, Russia seems to tremble at the mention of it, as the success of this project would replace Russian railways. Due to this, Russia is not sitting on its hands regarding this project. The big question is, will this project see the light of day? What are the possible challenges that might stop the project? Why would Russia feel threatened by the advancement of other countries and even Europe at large? You're about to find out in this exclusive video. The Helsinki-Tallinn Tunnel. Helsinki and Tallinn, 2 capital cities of 2 great nations, are about to join together through this mega project to make them a stronger force. Currently, these cities have the Gulf of Finland separating them. With a distance of about 80 kilometers between the cities, it takes about 2 hours for most ferries to travel between the cities. In fact, normal ferries might take about 3.5 hours just to travel between the cities. There are about 8 million trips in and out of the cities all year round, involving more than 8 million people. People rely on the ferry, fast passenger boats, and overland or air trips to move across the 2 cities. The passenger traffic along the route is projected to reach about 30 million by 2030. This increasing number of travelers has created the need to make the journey less tedious and faster for people. The tunnel is expected to reduce the cumbersome journey to about 20 minutes. The Helsinki-Tallinn Tunnel project was initiated under the Finnish-Estonian Transport Link project in 2016. The Finnish development company FinEstBay, led by Peter Vesterbacka, started working on this unprecedented project. The Helsinki-Uusimaa Regional Council leads the project while collaborating with the 2 cities, Helsinki and Tallinn, and other notable agencies like Harju County, the Finnish Transport Agency, and the Estonian Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communications. The tunnel will be about 100 kilometers long and, upon completion, will be the longest undersea railway tunnel in the world. Although the tunnel's design is not yet finalized, it is proposed to have about 1,435 tracks and to be completed by 2040. You wonder where they would get the funds to finance the massive project. The project's financing is expected to be provided by the EU alongside the governments of the 2 countries involved and other private investors who might be interested in contributing to its success. The EU and various private investors, like ARJ Holding, have contributed immensely to the feasibility studies, surveys, and other expenses involved in making this tunnel a reality. The Central Baltic program also partly finances it. However, the governments of neither country have contributed a dime to the project, yet they seem to be the most beneficiaries if it becomes successful. The reason for this is not apparent, but it might be because they rely greatly on the EU to fund the project. Impact on Europe. When the tunnel is completed, there will be more internal trade between Finland and Estonia as members of the EU. This increase in economic relations will further integrate the 2 countries with the other countries in Northern Europe. The interaction will be smooth, less chaotic, and faster. Because of this integration, the EU will grow stronger and have a more stable and reliable market. Russia has a strong influence in critical economic areas like energy and infrastructure. The EU has desired to diversify away from Russia and become more self-reliant as it transports its goods independently of Russia. This desire will come to pass as this tunnel will create a way for goods and passengers to move freely across Finland and Estonia without having to depend on Russia. Not only will Finland and Estonia be connected, but the tunnel will also connect with the broader Rail Baltica. This will link the Baltic states with Western Europe, leading to many economic opportunities and interrelation between Europe. Job opportunities will spring up from this connection and attract foreign investors who can easily access the EU countries. There will be more business cooperation between the countries and other EU countries. The tunnel will also act as a catalyst to make the Helsinki-Tallinn metropolitan area a more prominent hub in the European economy. With tourists having little to worry about regarding mobility and service, the tourism and service sector in Finland and Estonia will be enhanced, leading to more tourists visiting yearly, adding to the revenue generated by the government. Shifting travel from air and road to rail is in line with Europe's green policies, as rail is a more sustainable option that will benefit the environment by reducing carbon footprint. This dream can happen when the tunnel is successfully constructed. There will be easy mobility and even cross-border travel without hitch or worries. The connectivity the tunnel will provide between EU states also has security benefits and stability in the Baltic states. This connectivity tightens up the region so that external countries like Russia will not exploit transportation vulnerabilities in the region. It will keep the region's internal affairs and help the government better regulate what goes on in the environment. The region would also have independence from external influence that might mess with their trade policies and pricing. With a straightforward and more accessible means of moving goods across the region, and even to other EU countries, the goods will be more affordable as the cost of transportation would be reduced drastically. Goods will get to the needed destination easier and faster, to the joy of the manufacturers and consumers. The tunnel will also enhance the EU's infrastructure, which will ultimately work together with other factors to strengthen Europe's geopolitical position. Without mincing words, the Helsinki-Tallinn tunnel will be the most significant and most profound project in the EU in years. That is why this mega project's geopolitical and economic impact on Europe cannot be overemphasized. It is not just a one-sided project with few benefits. It will have a remarkable effect that will change the face of the trade system in Finland and Estonia. With the travel time between the two cities reduced, there will be an increase in the economic ties, fostering relationships between the two cities and other EU countries, reducing congestion, and enhancing trade routes for growth and economic stability in the region. But that's not all. Eager to find out more ways it would even benefit you as an European resident? Keep watching. Impact on the cities and region. The project has more to offer than you can imagine in terms of the benefits it offers to the governments of Finland, Estonia, and the EU at large. Beyond the economic impact that the tunnel would have on the region, it also has a cultural and urban development impact. Culture seems to be the order of the day, with people embracing other people's cultures and breaking barriers of segregation, while fostering unity and oneness among other nations by exploring diversity and using it to connect to others on a deeper level. Finland and Estonia will share a deeper bond in terms of cultural exchange as they share festivals, exhibitions, and other cultural events to strengthen the social bond between them. Since travel will become easier and faster, daily commuters and tourists will better understand each country's culture, languages, values, and norms. This will help them blend into one big cultural region with more tolerance and understanding. This tunnel will make visits between the two cities easier for tourists, and that would make either of the two cities the best location for tourists, as it would be like killing two birds with one stone, since the tourists can visit the other location as a complementary to their tourism experience. This complementary location will bring about a rise in the number of tourists coming to the region. The tunnel itself, proposed to be the longest in the world, will be an attractive destination for tourists to travel to, as it would be the highlight of their trip to the region. This boost in tourism will lead to the growth of the entertainment, retail, and hospitality sectors, which will lead to the region's urban rejuvenation and economic development. The region is about to experience rapid development and urbanization, as the tunnel could lead to the emergence of a combined Helsinki-Tallinn metropolitan area, referred to as Talsinki. This would be a larger, interconnected urban area promoting cross-border living, with people moving across the two cities daily for business and pleasure. This would lead to the rise of real estate development in the two cities in the areas surrounding the tunnel access points. There will be more commercial centers, private housing, and infrastructure in the area, contributing to the boost and rapid rise of the region. From all indications, this project seems to be a boost to EU. It would ease and favor the EU countries. This is why the EU is expected to fund most of the project's development. But then how is Russia taking all this? How it affects Russia? While the EU countries anticipate a tremendous boost in economic, political, and security advantages from the completion of this proposed tunnel, Russia seems to be at the receiving end in the aftermath. It's like a significant leg on which Russia stands is about to be cut off completely. Are you still wondering how this tunnel will be a big blow to Russia? Here is how. The overland travel between Estonia and Finland involves an 800-kilometer journey through Russia. The Helsinki-Tallinn project automatically means that the country would be short of the revenue it generates yearly from these trips of both humans and goods, which is why the project tends to pose a threat to Russia's economic standing. The rail system in Russia will tend to lose its significance to the trade and transportation sector in the region once the tunnel becomes functional. Finland is one of Russia's major road freight export partners. In the first quarter of 2022 alone, over 1 billion metric tons of goods were transported through the road sector. Russia's geographical location gave the country an advantage in developing all means of transportation, and the country invested heavily in ensuring that all those means of transportation were effectively developed and used to contribute to economic growth. The business between Russia and the cities, Helsinki and Tallinn, especially in the area of transportation, will drastically reduce. Northern and Southern Europe will no longer need Russia as a transport intermediary, especially for the transportation of non-energy goods. The regional trade dynamics in the area, especially concerning land travel across the two cities, have depended mainly on Russia's railway system. Once the tunnel is completed, the reliance on the traditional route across Russia to get goods to Northern Europe will reduce. It will strengthen the connectivity between EU countries, since Finland and Estonia are both EU countries, and drastically reduce Russia's geopolitical leverage in the region. The tunnel will strengthen the EU's self-reliance and sideline Russia. Russia has maintained a strong influence over the Baltic trade and transportation routes because of its dependence on its railway system. Russia is about to be stripped of that influence. Russia's involvement in cross-border transportation will decrease, and this will shift the focus of politics in the region to EU corporations, making Russia a complete alien in the equation. The power Russia has in the region might likely become a thing of the past. Even the overall relationship between Russia and the two nations might become less significant as they would no longer be able to influence trade dynamics. This can also affect people's jobs in Russia, as those who have relied on this transportation between countries as their means of livelihood would have little to nothing to do after the tunnel's completion. The rise in unemployment can pose a great challenge to the nation as a whole. Both Finland and Estonia have had a rough relationship with Russia. The tunnel will foster their connection, bringing them together as a great force to counterbalance Russia's influence in the region. However, the tunnel can also be perceived as a threat to Russia as it could alter shipping routes, logistics, and regional security dynamics. Do you think Russia can stop the execution of the project? For now, Russia can only monitor the project to ensure that it does not become a security threat to the nation in times of conflict. Since the tunnel will connect EU and NATO nations, Russia might view it as a security threat, and they will need to strengthen their military presence for security. On the economic side, Russia does business with other nations outside the Baltic region, so its response to the potential economic backlash that might come from the tunnel is to focus on its trade with other regions. Russia has already started investing in Arctic infrastructure to accelerate movement through the Northern Sea route. The tunnel might motivate them to push up with the project so they can stay relevant in the global market. Russia has not openly opposed the tunnel, but it is definitely taking behind-the-scenes measures to avoid getting water in its pants. Technical challenges. Russia is not much of a threat to this project, as there are many internal inconsistencies that threaten its actualization. As promising as this project looks, it has challenges that need to be addressed before construction can begin. One of the most prominent of those challenges is the environmental and logistical challenges that might result in technical issues standing in the way of the construction. The need for advanced engineering techniques to actualize this project stays on top of the technical challenges confronting the project. There is a need for many things to be put in place to address the complex geology and marine conditions and provide safety in case of emergencies. This also considers how this will affect the marine ecosystem as the tunnel is supposed to pass beneath the Gulf of Finland. Many measures must be implemented to protect marine habitats, avoid pollution, and prevent the risk of opening the area to natural disasters. The water pressure and the risk of earthquakes can counterattack the project. The tunnel is designed to accommodate high-speed passenger trains and freight. Strict and important measures must be put in place to ensure safety during emergencies. To do this, advanced engineering solutions are required, and as such, the contractors involved in the project have to be top-notch, world-class experts who will deliver nothing but the best so that the project does not end up becoming a historical disaster, just like the Titanic. Not only that, but there are also financial challenges. Financial challenges. Although the governments of both cities promised to support the project with €100,000 for the preparatory studies, none of them have released any funds to support their pledge. In 2014, the first official survey was done, and the result was released in February 2015. The preparatory survey estimated the budget to be about €9 to 13 billion. Other sources proposed that the cost for the tunnel could be up to 15 billion. In 2016, the EU provided €1 million for the state-level feasibility study, focusing on the tunnel's socio-economic effects and geological analysis. Other private investors had also provided substantial amounts to support feasibility studies and surveys to get the project moving. Speaking to the press on the 8th of February 2024, the Minister of Transport and Communications of Finland, Lulu Ranna, said that the tunnel project isn't of uttermost priority at the moment, and that they would only continue with it if the EU could release more funds. He said it was an unrealistic project. Does this mean the project is abandoned? While the EU sees the project as a major advantage, it would need strong political backing to get funding from other countries. Critics have started questioning whether the overall idea of the tunnel would be beneficial in the long run. Some speculated that there may not be enough goods and passenger traffic along the route as anticipated, leading to a loss of investment at the end of the day. Without funding, the project cannot continue. It will take a lot from the EU to attract private investors, as governments of the countries that seem to be the most beneficiaries of the project are not putting enough financial commitment to support it. In 2016, the transport ministries of Finland and Estonia signed a memorandum of understanding to support the project. In 2021, they had to sign another memorandum of understanding to cooperate on the development of large-scale transport projects, including the Helsinki-Tallinn Railway Tunnel and Rail Baltica. This MOU is valid until 2030. The MOU will guarantee a better environment for them to obtain funds from the EU for the project. Geopolitical tensions. Putting the financial challenges aside, the geopolitical tensions around this project can contribute to delays in the completion of the project. Since the tunnel will lead to less reliance on Russia for transportation around the region, the tension between Moscow, Russia's capital, and the cities is anticipated to increase. There is also potential for strong competition between Estonia and Finland due to the close connection that would come after the tunnel's completion. This competition might lead to an unnecessary rivalry that might not do either of the countries any good in the long run. Citizens of Finland and Estonia who consider the project a possibility can see that it would be a huge boost to the quality of life, economy, and transport system. Many look forward to its completion, while others express fear due to the possible difficulty the project might face because of the water pressure and other technical challenges. But you cannot rule out the fact that if this project is completed successfully, it will be the first of its kind and a big breakthrough for Europe. The project's future prospects look promising, as it has the potential to promote economic growth and stability within the EU and strengthen integration between Estonia, Finland, and other countries in the Baltic region. However, for it to be a success, continuous communication, effective planning, foresight, stakeholder engagement, and adaptation to rising conditions are needed. Outro. Will this tunnel project be successful? Share your opinions in the comment sections. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Before you go, check out this video displayed on your screen.